Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing fantastic. Excuse me. I certainly am. And I wanted to do a little video about, well, my last one, I kind of went, it was kind of all encompassing. Let's just say that. That's a nice way of saying you're all over the place, but whatever. The point I'm getting at is, see, I'm not opposed to go down conspiracy theory rabbit holes, but I'm not going to do it just for the sake of because it's cool or whatever. I mean, because there are a lot of interesting conspiracy theories and things like that. And I'm not saying I'll never do that. It's just that's not really usually when I go down a conspiracy theory, it's usually to do with a bit of information that we can use. So, when I use the word controllers, okay, because the lovely kitty was like, when you say controllers, you mean like the government. And I'm like, well, yeah, them too, but like just the controllers of this realm, of the construct of the world. What we would call the elites, right? And then there are people in the government who are hip to it and everything, but then there's those who are not. Because people who are elected to government are there temporarily. So, anyway, that's beside the point. But there are those who are in charge of everything. And I've got to believe that there is a lot of truth to that, and here's why. Because because it's not that hard to come up with that people are being kept in a low vibrational dumbed down state. I mean, that's not hard to see. And we can I mean, you can take a trip to Walmart and it's blatantly obvious. But it's like, well, then what is the purpose? Because why would, as long as we're being good little consumers, right? As long as we are producing and consuming and obeying, why would they care if we're in a low vibrational state or a high vibrational state? Well, but people who are in low vibration are easier to control. Yes, people who are happy typically tend to go and be more productive for their own self rather than just being good little worker bees, robots, and consumers, right? But still, like with that word that I mentioned in the last video, it's kind of a buzzword in the spiritual community these days. It's not necessarily a new word, but it is a word that's becoming more frequently used. And that word is the word loosh. I have been looking into it a lot. I'm not a fan of buzzwords. That's just kind of a pride thing with me. It's something I've got to get over. Okay. That's something I'm working on. But it's like when I hear little trendy buzzwords like that, I sometimes like, I don't want to use that word. Even if it makes perfect sense. That's why I'm like, you got to get over that, Matt. Because if it makes sense, if it's like, yeah, that would explain a lot of things. That would explain a lot of things we see in the world. For example, when I said that we know that the human consciousness can only perceive of about 40 to 50 bits of information, or can perceive 40 to 50 bits, yeah, of information per second, and that there are as many as 11 million coming at you at any time. So it's like, well, that's an awful lot. And I feel like it's even more now than it used to be, right? I mean, the numbers are anywhere from like 8 million to 11 million. And I do believe that it's getting more and more. Because anyone who would want to keep you in a low vibrational state, it's like, well, first of all, it's like, why? Well, for one, to keep you easier to control, keep you in fear, keep you in, say, maybe some self doubt, things like that. That way, you'll just stay in your lane. You won't want to go and chart your own course and be your own person and have an amazing life and be a creator. No, they can't have that. You just need to continue to be the good little worker bee. But then enter the loosh into the equation. It's like, So that is a low vibrational energy that we emit when we are in a low vibrational sstate. I got a gnat or something. Anywho, Anyway, hey, loved one, hit the like button, please. I would appreciate that. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. I do have a gnat. Anywho, okay. So, but now they say that there are, dark entities. I'm not one of those people who's all everything's just sunshine, glitter, and rainbows and stuff. I understand that there is evil, that their evil does exist. I understand that, and there has to be, because of, like we learned in the Kybalion with, we learned that anything, or with, with the law of polarity, or principle of polarity, anything that's good, there has to be an equally bad thing. Okay, so we have to see bad in order to see good. We have to see up to see down, hot, cold, all of that. But then it goes further to say that they are really the same thing, just on opposite ends of the stick. Okay, fine. But the point is, I know that evil exists because I know that good exists. Okay, now has this realm been hijacked by evil? Yes, but that is whether or not you accept that into your paradigm. That's what matters. And that's what I encourage people to do, to break away from what's going on in the world, because it's not good. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, with the low vibrational energy that's produced from fear, doubt, worry, just all of those negative emotions that people, and it seems like people are getting more bogged down by it. Like with debt, I mean, the credit card debt in just America alone is unbelievable. Well, that causes an immense amount of worry and stress and just low vibration. That's not good. But it's good for anybody who would feed off of that energy. Anybody who uses that energy would be like, yeah, let's cause more of that credit card debt thing. Let's do that. That's working. That's getting them out under a lot of stress, right? Anybody who needs that energy would love credit card debt, just for example. And so this low vibrational energy called Loosh is then used, some people say, as a food for the negative entities, these negative demons, if you want to call them that. And I'm like, well, okay, that would be one thing. Another one could be much like in the Matrix movie, and I don't like to go there because I am a simulation theorist, and I don't want people to think that I think that's how it is. I'm not saying it's way off. I think there's a lot of truth to the Matrix. However, that Loosh, that low vibrational energy that we emit when we are in those negative states, the theory is that is used to power this whole thing and cause more of everything. So it compounds. And then we get to we are only able to perceive 40 to 50 bits of information per second. And there's up to like 8 to 11 billion, or not billion, I'm sorry, 8 to 11 million bits of information coming at you from every direction all the time. And it seems like it's more and more and more all the time. So it's almost like, well, okay, we got whoever, Harry and Susie over here, right? Harry, this stuff works on him, so keep hitting him with that. But Susie, that didn't work on her, but that's okay because we've got these other things we can hit her with, right? So they've got all this stuff coming at us. The good news is when we become aware of this, when we get conscious of this fact, that's when we can begin to block it out of our field. As I've talked about your bubble, your sphere, because you are not a body with a soul, you're actually a soul with a body inside of it. That would explain your sphere. They say you're in a kind of a resting state. It's about 10 feet in every direction, which explains how somebody can walk up behind you perfectly silent and you can still feel their presence because they've stepped into your field. They've actually come into your bubble that surrounds your body. That's your actual full being, which you can expand and contract. That's a whole other thing. I mean, they say it can be expanded for the size of the universe. Okay, I'm not. I actually do believe that to be true, but it's not important what we're talking about. So I point out these negative things. It's like, well, that's not. Well, why are we focusing on negative stuff, Matt? I'm like, I'm not focusing on it. I'm asking you, like I said in the last one, that we got from the Gospel of Thomas, to be a passerby. We can observe those things, be aware of them, and continue on. Because to be a passerby, you still have to be aware of what's going on around you. You always have to be, they say situational awareness. You need to be aware of what's going on around you. Sure. That doesn't mean you participate in it. So we are like we're just passing through. We are here for a very, very short amount of time. We are here for whatever we want to be here for. So we're like, I'm just passing through this short little 100 years or whatever it is I'm going to be here. It's a blink of an eye. It really is. So this very short amount of time we're here, and it's like, well, yeah, but I've been, then a lot of people are like, I've had many lifetimes here. I cycle back through and through and through. Yes, but now you're becoming aware of all of this. That's the great thing. You're becoming aware of all of this, the whole game. So that tells me that we are on our way out. We're going to be of no use to the system anymore. In fact, we are going to be dangerous to the system because we know the game. So when these avatars finally die and we check out of here, they're probably going to be like, yeah, we're not going to cycle you back through. Heck no, well, you're done. You're out of here. Go. So we're going to get to move on to the next adventure. That's great. That's fantastic. Let's wake up to who our true higher self is and say, okay, beat that game. What's the next one? Right? So since we're hip to that whole thing, we understand, okay, low vibrational states, there's good reason why someone who is trying to keep us down as worker bees, just produce, consume, obey, the people who want to keep us down at that level, okay, all that makes sense why they would want to do that now. And then we want to talk about who are they. I'll go there. That's fine. Not right now. Maybe that would be a good one for a live stream, I think. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of clear some things up because I'm like, yeah, that last video it was okay. I liked the fact that I introduced Loosh, and I like the fact that I introduced the 40 to 50 bits per second is what your conscious mind can perceive at a time, because we got to realize how much is coming at you and why. It's like, let's just bombard them. Just bombard the hell out of them with so much crap that if this doesn't work, then that does. All we've got to do is eat up about 50 bits. But now that you're aware of that fact, you're aware of it, it's like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, now I know what you're doing. And no, it's not okay. So it's going to take some work, of course. But it's like, I'm going to start focusing on the things that are beneficial to me. And I know I get on here and do that me thing a lot. I know. I'm not saying you shouldn't love your fellow man. I'm not saying, but you're not going to serve them one bit by being down there with them in the muck. Best thing we can do for the people we love is to come up out of it. Be that shining example. That's the best thing we can do for them. And lead by example. Be the person that's like, what did you do different? Because we're all, not great. And you're over there like, I'm cool. So and that way they can say, stand out. Or even better, be missed. Like, well, so-and-so's not here, and all this crap, this garbage that we're dealing with. Yeah, because they brought themselves out of it and said, I'm not in that. That's not my world. And I'm not saying we have to completely physically go away from them. No, I'm talking about on a soul trajectory level. Like the house in the neighborhood that got ransacked by a tornado. It's right there amongst them. But it said, that is not my future. That is not my fate. That's not where I'm going. Anyway, loved ones, that's what I got. I wanted to just clear up that thing about the 40 to 50 bits in the Loosh, that low vibrational energy. Please give me a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Share this information with someone you might feel like needs to hear it or would like to. And go on X and find me there, Matt Stevens, MSA. MSA is for my audio only podcast, My Sober Addiction. So it's Matt Stevens, MSA is in My Sober Addiction. And yeah, follow me on X because everything I do, whether it's on YouTube or Reddit, Substack, audio only podcast, whatever, it's all going to be posted right there. Plus, I like to put little quotes and the inspirational quotes that I find on there too. So anyway, loved one, that's what I got. I love you. I really do. And I'll be back directly.